Hello, friends. Do you feel like your waves have no depth, movement, and have a lot of stiffness? You lack the flow that you need, and you're looking for something that can change the way you paint waves? I've been there, trust me. I have learned to let go and come at a painting which just felt right. This wasn't an overnight change, but this was a conscious effort of understanding water and its movement along with pigment. What changed it for me is what I want to share with you in this tutorial that we are about to begin. I know you're curious to know what are those quick fixes that will help you immediately to transform from going stiff and lifeless waves to these beautiful moving waves which look gorgeous. So let's begin. I have prepped the paper by securing it with a masking tape, and I've also put the masking tape near the horizon line. This is to secure the paper in a way that there are no bleeds between the sky and the waves. You will see as we paint along that this really comes in handy when you have to paint the waves. Now I have started painting the sky with cobalt blue and ultramarine blue. I am lifting paint to give the feeling of fluffy clouds. When I do this, I want to also give an effect or a feeling of distance, which is why I am making clouds more fluffier or bigger on the top and smaller on the near the horizon line to give the sense of distance. I moved the masking tape on the sky after drying the paper, and that will allow us to not reactivate the pigment on the sky and avoid the bleeds from the ocean into the sky. This will give you crisp horizon line. I have put the first layer down for the ocean. This is diluted indigo and a little bit of ultramarine. As you can see, I am running my brush across the paper to give a sense of movement. Now I'm going to mix a more creamy pigment for indigo before I go in, put in my first layer of waves. If you're not confident going into the paper directly, make sure you try this on a scrap piece of paper. Also make sure the consistency of the pigment is creamy and not diluted tea like. It should be really strong pigment, more pigment, less water. And if you think your brush has water in it, dab it to a paper towel like I did earlier before you go into the paper. Also make sure the paper is not too wet, not too dry, otherwise it will give you hard edges where the paper is dry and give you a very blurry wave when where the paper is really wet. I will now show you the shine that you don't want. This is the dampness. I don't think you can see it very clearly. Let me tilt the paper for you. And now you see the shine. The shine is what you want to avoid. You need a, yeah, this is too shiny, this is too wet. You do not want to be painting in that kind of shine, any kind of waves. You need the dampness which is on the lower side of the paper. Now, because I did not have a consistent dilution of the pigment to water, I am also, and also there was a patch of dryness. I have a hard edge on the wave, and there are a few blooms on the near the horizon line. We can rectify it. So for the hard edges, what you can do is go in with a wet damp brush, take out all the excess water and run the brush over the wave or on the edges of the wave to smoothen out the edges. Now you can see how I'm doing it, but it is creating blooms because the rest of the paper has dried up already. So for the blooms and for any kind of hard edges, we want to correct it. what we are going to do is we are going to wait for the whole paper to dry or take a heat gun to dry it. Once we have a dry paper, we are going to try and we are going to wet the whole paper with a damp brush and with very light handed movements. We are not going to use any hard movements. We're going to try. I will be showing you how I did it. We're going to use a brush which has very soft bristles. I'm using a silver black brush which has natural hair and is very soft and does not reactivate the paint when you re-wet the paper. I'm going to go with very light hand, as you can see, and re-wet the paper. As I re-wet the paper, you will see the shine come back, and I'm trying to get rid of the excess water in the tumbler so that I am not going in the paper with excess water. And you have to make sure the entire paper is damp. So just make sure that you move your paper in sun so that you see if you're missing any. Make sure there are no dry patches. And I did that too, and I can see the bottom line not being wet. I'm going to go back in, but I'm going to make sure that I have taken out all the excess water, otherwise there will be a dripping water on my paper. Now to correct the blooms, I'm going to slowly run my brush across the paper where there are blooms to reactivate the paint on the bottom. If you think it's not working out as easily as it is for me, the other option is to go in with another layer of paint. Now we'll move to creating a creamy consistency of paint so that we can start with painting our waves while our paper becomes damp and not remains wet. So I'm going to start now. Now you see this is the perfect balance that you're trying to achieve. It's not always about the perfection of the stroke, but also about the conditions that you paint in. You also should notice that I am painting with a little bit more pressure when I am painting bigger waves closer to me, and a softer movement of brush when I'm painting the waves closer to the horizon line. You see, I'm using the tip of the brush when I'm painting those delicate thin waves, which give sense of distance and feel like it's a faraway wave which you cannot reach with those thin lines. Make sure you paint curvy movements or curvy strokes and not straight to give that sense of movement for the waves. Overall, if you bear three things in mind, it will be a game changer for you when you paint soft and expressive waves. One is making sure you have the right consistency of the paint. Second, the right amount of dampness of the paper. And third, the right pressure that you put on the brush when you're painting those waves. If you got these three things sorted and locked in, trust me, you will end up with beautiful waves every time you paint, and it will be more of a therapy than stress. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.